This is your daily market recap for Tuesday, December 13th, 2022. Let's go.
Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well.
This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your daily market recap for Tuesday, December 13th, 2022. Hopefully you're having a great day. Let's dig into it. Going into today, we told people, please, if you don't have any positions, don't have any positions. You've got the VIX, so you got quad witching OPEX, you've got the FOMC, you've got big economic data today with CPI, and on Thursday, retail sales, Philly Fed, Empire State Manufacturing, yada, yada, yada. Tons of stuff going on. You knew the market was going to do what? Play games. Anybody who didn't see this coming, I'm sorry. We talked about this for almost weeks going into this. This week was going to be very important. It was going to be potentially a top, bottom, choppy, whatever action that was going to play with the most amount of people's emotions. Did the video on mental capital, how most people waste it, we saved it. And, your emotional mental capital, whatever you want to call it, has been preserved. Well, you saw today's action. You saw the gap up, and you absolutely said to yourself, let's watch some of these levels, and we'll talk about when we get to the SPY. Maybe you can start some shorts. Now, did you go all in short? Maybe you did. Congratulations. I did. And again, because I'm looking more for the swing trade, looking for the bigger setups, layer in, layer out kind of thing. But one of the things we talked about today, too, posted this on Twitter, posted in the Discord room, you could buy the dip. So now I'm basically back to neutral, which I love going into the FOMC. And if the market rips, pops, great. If it drops, I can stop out of my longs. I'm basically positioned so that I can't lose. And volatility becomes your friend. That is the way to do it. Now, having multiple, 7-8 point spread within the SPY, I guess maybe 9, within some of the entries got entered on positions. Again, all small, nothing large. Because what is the thing that I warn people about? Retest, trying to predict the exact tops and bottoms can be very difficult. And so one of the things that we should think about at this point going forward is the Feds don't talk until later in the afternoon. So you're going to see some implied volatility increase tomorrow, which means probably both ways. Unless some news comes out of nowhere and sinks the market, it's pretty safe to say there will be some sort of retraces higher. Could you get the Santa Claus effect? Again, all of it depends on what the Feds say. What is their forward guidance? You have to be thoughtful of that. And if you're not thoughtful of that, because again, what they're going to do tomorrow, 50 basis point rate hike, no one gives a crap about. Sorry. Meh, who cares? The questions you have to start asking yourself is, what is going to be their forward guidance and how is it interpreted? And honestly, this is what's hilarious about it, is the forward guidance could be exactly what you think it's going to be, but the market reacts a certain way. We've talked about the Thursday post FOMC Wednesdays has now become the actual real deal. It's almost like the Wednesday is a spectacle, trap, up and down, all over the place, closes, who gives a crap, and then Thursday is the next direction. So now that you've heard that and you're thoughtful and you're like, all right, well, do I need a buy here? No, maybe not. Try to wait towards the lows. Do you need a short here? No. You got to be patient. And if you miss some of the moves, you have to be thoughtful. Like, this is you waiting for pocket aces versus trading 7 deuce offsuit and trying to hit the pot. You might be able to do that, but do you want to take on that kind of risk? Because you're going to have to put chips in the pot to win. And you don't want to do it with crappy starting hands, essentially, out of position hands. And when I say out of position, we've said this a lot. When there's news, big ideas coming, something brewing, it's better to wait for the reaction and then trade accordingly versus trying to anticipate it and then potentially get blown out. Because there's people on Twitter who are like high-fiving, they did so awesome today. And it's like, well, none of them took profits at the open, which is hilarious. And then they're like, well, you were wrong. And it was like, wait, no. We put ourselves in a neutral position. Nothing was wrong. We were in cash. People who are wrong were the ones who bought before this and got lucky on the upside and then didn't cash out. Or what it would, and this is what I always worry about, is what if you would have bought calls? What if you would have bought calls into today's action and the market dumped 10 points? You're screwed. Absolutely screwed. So it's one of those things. First mouse gets the trap. Typically second mouse gets the cheese. If you want to be part of the Discord room, I've told people it's closed. If you want to get in it, you need to tell me your story. I'd like to know more about you. If you feel insecure about doing such, well, then you can just follow me on Twitter. Not a problem. Posting everything all day when I'm around, of what we're up to, trying to keep people informed of expected trades, where we're looking at. Here it goes, about hourly, looking at levels, just keeping people informed. Also, too, if you're newer to trading, you're like, what the hell is he talking about? Please watch the educational trading videos, the Back to Basics series. Got to start somewhere. Education is free. If you want your tuition to be high, go right ahead. Feel free and pay for it. I would try to give it away for free because I'm not scared of competition. It's no different than anybody in any profession who's great at something. They knew it took 10,000 hours minimum and lots of learning, that no one will do it. So you can give them the answers. Will they actually do it? Nah. All right, Bitcoin. Nice little pop today. We've talked about it going nowhere for the last, I don't know, it seems like forever. Since, I mean, man, damn. 12 days. All right, now it pops up. Cool. Looks okay. Now you've got another, looks like, trend line potentially forming here. Man, this is just the never-ending story with this thing. It just makes lower lows, lower highs, but trend lines abound. Test, fail, test, fail, test, fail. All right, the next one. Well, it looks like it's up near 19,000. I personally have no position on Bitcoin. Don't care about it. Don't want to put my thought process into it because there's right now way too many variables that could absolutely destroy digital currencies and that's the big problem. I don't see anything that's all of a sudden going to be like, oh, got to buy digital currencies. No, it seems to be the news has everything and every reason to slap this stuff down. Doesn't mean it can't go higher. It just probably isn't going anywhere. That's the biggest problem. Oil, told y'all yesterday. Interesting how it held the channel lows. We talked about this area, remember 60s, upper 60s, mid 60s. That's which I would watch for if there's a monster market dumper. This area, we said yesterday when it popped, it's probably going to pop into the mid 70s. Well, here you go. Could it backtest this trend line? That's always possible. 77. I would watch it. I personally am now at this point where with oil, it really depends. And this is the thing. Like if you have stabs in at the lows, awesome. I did not get such. And I tried to show people, if you studied 2008, 2009, you had the bottom in December and then tons of volatility in oil following. Here, I'll do it again because I love you guys and I want people to win. I don't want them to be confused. Here you go. Where's 2008? Oh, where's the monthly? Come on. Oh, here you go. You had the bottom in December, and then you had a bottom in January. And so, and then obviously the Feds got a little more dovish. If the market dumps, that's what I would expect, something like that, where oil is in this sticking range, right here, somewhere in this sticking range. And if that's the case, it's probably going to leave it alone. Now, remember, it's hard to compare years to years past. Even at worst, if we miss the bottom here, it just is what it is. I mean, there's going to be other opportunities. We like it I don't know if long-term, short-term, whatever term you want to describe it as. We like it. I don't have a problem if you're long it from the range lows, but do you trust it? It's kind of like playing the SPY right now. You trade it for what you think it can be, and you know that anything can change at any point. The biggest thing going for oil is that it seems like there's more upside if something goes wrong than good. Unless the whole economy slaps and everybody gives up, well then fine. But if Russia gets frisky, China gets frisky, Saudis, OPEC get frisky, you got upside. If you don't, maybe it just chops around. That's kind of how it is. It's not a bad trade if you got in at the lows, and if you are trading it, great. Natural gas, somebody was asking me about this today, and they were like, what do you think about it at these levels? Are you interested in trading it? Do you have any? No. Again, we're coming into resistance. I like it, but we're not, you could argue, now, here you go. You could argue, like, is this a head and shoulders, like left shoulder, right shoulder, and head? Or is it about to break out? Well, here you go again. Now you've put yourself in a position where going into the big uncertainties, it could go either way. And so why would I add positions today? Why would I even think about it? If anything, I think someone shorted it, and it makes sense. It's been on fire. At this point, you have to remember your mental, emotional capital. What can you focus on, and what do you think you can be right at with certainty? At this point in these markets, with these oil and gas stuff, I don't have the mental capital to watch it. I just don't. It needs to be at extremes where my alarms are set, or it's just going to do what it's going to do and I miss it. That's just the reality of trading. If you can't wrap your head around that and that never happens, and you just think, oh, I got to watch this and watch and watch and watch and watch and watch and watch, and then you watch other ideas go floating by, you kind of screwed up. Come on. You got to understand that. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Hopefully it's an absolute yes. Okay, the dollar. You're welcome. Okay, here's where it's like, I can't really say I was right. I thought there was probably going to be a bounce, but I also said watch this 28 range. I've been saying that for what seems like forever. Well, you gapped down today, and that, to me, signified potentially a novice gap bottom. I know the dollar is not, trades all times, all hours. This is interesting to me because breaking the 200-day would be one of the things that draws bulls into the market, right? But you have to be careful too. If the dollar breaks and it breaks heavily, and if you're familiar, go look back at 2008, right? What happened in 2008 with the dollar, right? What happened? Well, guess what? The dollar broke, right? The dollar broke, and it started in February of 2009. Well, do we get a drop? Let me now bring it back to the daily, because that was when the Feds were going to pivot. Are the Feds really going to pivot, or is this a trap? You have to think about, like, that's what's really cool about watching the dollar right now. It's like, the dollar rallies, maybe commodities get slapped around, and then the market drops as well. Because keep in mind, what is this year has been focused? Like, bonds and stocks have done terribly. Well, dollar going higher probably had a lot to do with the uncertainty in the world and people taking profits and everything, whether it's emerging markets to, you name it, your favorite sector, or chopping, depending on what sectors you're in, and some have done well. Point being, watch the dollar here. Thought it might pop. It actually gapped down, but look at the volume today. I mean, you have to put on your radar, like write in your notes. I'm writing it now new. Dollar anomaly. Okay. Now, could it retest the lows? Yeah. Could it? Absolutely. Just be aware. Just be aware. And when I say be aware, it's starting to make moves that potentially could trigger bigger moves. Does that make sense? Like, that could be a trap. TLT rallied up today. Again, we said this the last couple of days. I don't think the bond market's moving until the Fed speak. They need to see their forward guidance. At this point, you're at resistance, but it doesn't mean it can't go higher based on what the Fed say. We'll see what happens. The VIX, nice little what? Pop, flop. Now, I said this even intraday. It's probably going to fill the gap, probably the 20-day. Okay, but I don't really care so much about the VIX chopping and the 22s about what I would like it to do, which would honestly be, if this is a VIX termination, end of the quarter, end of the year kind of thing, I'd love to see the VIX get slammed down one more time. Remember, the put-call ratios picked up a little bit the last couple of days. Love it. Love it down in the 20s. That would make the most sense to me to buy even more putties. Putties. SPY, let's talk about it, because I've been trading this thing today. All right, at the open, was watching it going, all right, you know what? It's close enough to 410. You can start trading it. And again, I'll show you the ideas that we got into. It's only 2. I mean, literally, I'm not that short. Said, this is good enough for government work. This is close enough to my upside target range, somewhere in the 415 plus, maybe even 420. Again, 420 is a joke. But here's the next point, though. Once it dropped, not short anymore. Give up. Whatever. Don't care. Scalping some longs makes sense going in FOMC because the whole Fed in itself is an uncertainty. And if people are short, they're going to take profits. And if people miss the long, they're probably going to buy the stupid dip. Stupid dip? No, it's called a technical dip. So we talked about the 400 level. Look, it's the old 0.618, getting close to the 20-day, whatever you want to call it. And if you see it on the hourly, let me pull it in. I'll show you exactly what I was looking at, whatever. This 200 period, range high, this box. Well, hello, you got it. And then we bought a little bit on the retest, and then sold a little up here, and then bought some back. And now, again, a lot of people are like, you didn't post that. I'm like, I got a lot of things going on. And again, for me at this point, I know some people sold higher, which is that's great. I'm glad they posted that, because then hopefully others in the Discord room, I think Ready Set Sell, maybe Sabelina talked about it. Great. Again, I have a small enough position at certain points where I'm like, I was trying to add more and just didn't really do anything other than watch it. Sold a small amount, just going, all right, yeah, that makes sense. Because I was watching the hourly and watching the 10-minute. And if you watch the 10-minute, you saw this kind of long wick just blow out. And it's like, all right, this thing just rallied, what was it, from 399 up to 403. That's 1%. It's probably going to be some profit taking. But ultimately, my goal was to try to keep as much as possible going in to tomorrow of the small position. Keep that in mind. It's of the small position. Not crazy, not huge, not all in. No, just, all right, let's just watch it. And so here, I'm not surprised going into the close. It's rising. Again, this candle blowing up, knocking people, going short, everyone chasing the highs, comes back. You got to love it. Second mouse gets the queso. And so now what? Upside target zone is now retested. We have verification of that. So you got to be thoughtful of that. Is the top end? Maybe. But what did I say earlier in the day? I've been talking about, I'm like, wouldn't be surprised if we close somewhere in the 403, 404 area, somewhere over the 200 day. And I said it this morning for a reason, because I wanted people to think about it from the perspective of the market makers care more about the headlines. They're going to care more about how the market perceived close. Nobody who is paying, the people that aren't paying attention don't realize they got up to 410. All they're going to see is the market was up almost 1% today on the CPI. They're not going to see that it was up to 404. I mean, almost 411, 410.50. Like, people don't realize it was up almost 3%. Average person is not going to get that headline. They're going to get the headline: CPI is coming down. Feds might be done tightening. Bullish market reaction. Is that clear? Is that clear right now? Does that make sense? Everybody listening, like, that's probably what the positioning for the market to rise more coming up is. That's why I'm like, And everybody who thought the market was going to dump today, I'm like, on the pullback, I'm not surprised it pulled back. It actually provided a great opportunity to buy some longs here. So does that make sense? Everybody clear why the thinking is? Like, thinking like the market makers and news. Not, again, pull your head out of your charts. I've got 8 screens here, and I'm not looking at any of them when I'm thinking about this. I'm trying to think about how the news is going to screw over the most amount of people. And the best way to do that is to be like, hey, look, FOMC, hey, look, CPI's coming down. Bear market should be over. When they do this, the market should rally. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, got it. So, all right. Here, James, I bought some long dated SMH puts. Again, if you bought them, I hope you bought very little and you got at the high. If you got in at the lows today or anywhere below 409, 408, yeah. Good luck. You're going to have to hold out, and might be a rocky road. You might be down 10, 20, 30% on those options before you know you're right, which sucks. That's not the purpose that's hard with options. So, looking at the SPY here, holding around the 402s, not surprised. QQQQQ. Got up to the freaking target range top. Pretty damn close. Closing, hit the 20-day like a boss. Probably going to chop. I'm telling you right now. Think about where price closed and where price is closing today. It's going to look bullish to the average person. The news is going to talk about, hey, look, great day, up 3%. Or sorry, up 1%. Feds are going to be more bullish. Let's see what happens. We don't know for sure, because, again, this is the biggest risk you have to take on shorting right now, is that if whatever the Fed say gets the market to continue rallying, do you have the Santa Claus rally? Do you have the January effect? That's where, again, if you are buying puts, long dated, great. But you also want to try to get near the highs. Do not chase puts today. Absolutely worst thing you could do, other than if you got in near the highs. And if you didn't trade the first 30 minutes and you just waited, I didn't add any puts. I'm actually buying calls. I mean, I'm trying to explain this to people. Like, I think there's going to be some bounce back. So don't feel like you're lost or you missed the boat. And if you have missed the boat, well, guess what? Welcome to freaking trading. You've missing trades. Nobody misses. The pros never miss trades. No, everyone misses trades, y'all. And you have to accept that. And you have to wait for the next best one. And you have to be patient. Because if you want to be a fucking gambler, just deposit your money into my bank account and I'll hold on to it. And I'll give it back to you in a few months when you practice trade and trade like a dipshit and lose a ton of money in your practice account. I'll give it back and say, hey, look, you didn't lose anything. How are your learning lessons? How did it go learning for free? Most people never do that, again, but that's what they do. They get into this with a gambling mentality, and it aggressively pisses me off. Because I'm like, you are going to lose when you play the game the way the market makers want you to play it, which is the gambling mentality, having to be trading all the time, trying to predict every minute of every day, every hour. It's stupid. It's absolutely ludicrous thinking you have that kind of skill. You are not an algorithm, a computer, or backed by billions of dollars, or maybe hundreds of millions in technology. No, you're an idiot. I'm an idiot. We're just trying to take a snapshot and interpret it. You are not that smart. I am not that smart. But we do know how the computers work. We do know how these people work. We do know how the market makers work. That's our advantage and probabilities. IWM, watch for lagging. Well, can we confirm IWM is lagging? Can we confirm it? Yes, I think we can. It's not making new highs. Even when it gapped up today, nowhere close to the recent highs. Red alert. Red alert. Hence why I'm saying if the market rallies, I'm looking to short now. It seems logical. Again, the evidence is presenting itself. You wanted to short in November. This is the problem. You have to let things play out. Oh, you wanted to buy the first pop. Fine. You can. But you don't expect it. Not every move is a V straight line. Okay? Point being is that when chop presents itself, chop is what it is. You don't pretend like it's not going to be chop. Well, watch for lagging. You got it. Okay. Where, now, when? It's probably going to relate to what? What happens the next couple days? Maybe even the next week. What if that happened? Oh, that would just drive people bonkers. Gold. Nice gap up over the 0.786. Now what? Shiitake mushrooms. I mean, this is probably a novice gap, right? Professional gap, ended, novice gap. Thought it might be this one. We got another one. I mean, now you got 1, 2, 3, 4 gaps, big gaps. Maybe this one negates one of them. Still, 3 gap trap. Am I shorting gold? Personally, no. I mean, has it come to my...
I can't really say.
Yeah, you can't say, Siri. I know. Neither can I. I'm at this point where I'm like, I don't trust it, but I'm not going to short it. I still expect the December typical pullback seasonality to play out. Yada, yada, yada. If you want to short it, cool. I mean, it makes sense. Silver, same kind of thing. Gap up, close at the high, or closing at the lows of the day. This is tough. I mean, there's a lot of perceived, like, money rotation into this stuff, but if the market's going to flush, nothing's safe. And I'm talking like the VIX goes up into the 50s, nothing is safe. And if someone tells you gold is safe, okay, well, let's just see what happens. Because typically when liquidation comes, they throw the baby out the bathwater. The only way that I could see the market dumping and gold holding up is if the dollar dumps too. Did you hear what I said? If the dollar dumps too. Because if it doesn't dump, ooh, bye-bye. GDXJ, nice. Retest to a T. That is an M top. If you're shorting it, no, you got your stop is very logical, very obvious. GDX, same kind of thing. Nice little pop. Here you go. Yada, yada, yada. You have your, and again, you have your levels. You have your stops. It's real simple. AEM, nice little pop up today. Naturally, look at this. Doji, the 0.618. Interessante. We'll see what happens here. Personally, again, no crazy moves in the sense of like, hey, I've got to jump on these, especially with gold and silver stuff. I mean, I just have to warn people. I don't have endless bandwidth to trade everything. I'd rather just focus on some of the markets and the market names. I think they're going to move better. AG. This doesn't make sense. I'm telling you right now, anomaly. AG should be up in the 11s, and it is in the freaking 9. At 9. Something's not right, miners. Newmont, pop right back up. Couldn't get to the, I hate this thing is a piece of snot. Look at it. Gets up here. Flap. Straight back. Good old pass. Pops. Man, decent pop. Comes right back. Doesn't look good. All right. Tech. Let's start with AMD as normal. Pop, flop, chop. Keep an eye on it. I'm telling you, semis are going to be an absolute short. Taiwan semi. This one is going to the top of my list because right now it seems very obvious that China is going to be playing games and threatening to take over Taiwan. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who wants to source their chips through Taiwan. Even if it doesn't happen, think about it. Think. If you're the one ordering chips, hey, do I want to go through someone who's a supplier who's going to Taiwan with the odds of something happening? Or do I just want to, I'm going to pass. I'm going to pass on Taiwan semi. I'm just going to go with someone else. Think about that if you were running a business. This one is an obvious short now, in my opinion. Because it only seems like it's going to get more aggressive. And you play the game. When it chops, then it's going to start to flop. Put that on your radar. NVIDIA. People were excited about getting it 2 days ago at the 200-day. Gets into the next upper box. Man, to a T. Wow. Yeah. I mean, you're so close. I don't know why you wouldn't get up into the mid-190s, potentially. Keep that on your radar. I don't have a position for NVIDIA to short. Because, again, they might benefit from all this. SMH, nice little gap up. Closes right at the previous highs. Who is it? XM talking about 243. It's 0.618, and this area, the trend line, yeah, 240s would be nice, but again, so would I can't say this. So would pocket aces hitting the flop ace ace king versus ace king for $1 million in a pot. Yeah, but my point being is, watch how we act up here. A candle is painting bearish. It is painting bearish. Watch for the retest. Watch what happens when it gets into the 230s, right? If you want to start stabbing there, that to me makes sense. Adobe making another high today, but look at that. Not that pretty. A lot of these names looking suspect. Technically looking suspect. We'll see. Apple, man, tries, what did it get? A 149.97, some sort of Price is Right shit. And look at that. Pulls back. Didn't get any. I mean, I'd like, again, the safest short is in the 150s. If it doesn't happen, doesn't happen. Amazon, people talking about buying this down here. The gaps up, flops, chops, fills the gap. I mean, this tech. I mean, this is the thing. Tech doesn't look that great. You can short it on higher. I mean, again, I would try to short things that look like they have more room to run. Laggards lag. The whole sector's crap. But to me, financial, certain tech, love it. Love the short. CRM. Thought we'd get up here. Guess not. We'll see. Maybe it happens tomorrow. I mean, a lot of these names, if they're in between areas, what's your favorite? None of these are my favorite to really trade. Nice little pop. Talked about getting up here. We'll see. I mean, you're just kind of throwing darts, and that's the problem. I don't want y'all throwing darts. Meta, I really want to see the 127s minimum. Pops, chops, flops. Mr. Softy, you're welcome to 263 to 265, 200-day booyakasha. I missed that one. And the only reason why I'm saying the booyakasha is like, hey, look, it hit that. And again, if you can identify support and resistance, you have a talent, you have a skill, you have an ability to do that in other places. Here it hit it. We'll be watching to see if it hits it again. I've said this 1,000 times. Microsoft is overvalued times a billion. NDAQ. Now, this one I had an itching for a short. And I'm not talking about like jock itch or athlete's foot or bed bugs or mosquito bite. I'm just talking like this is a beast. Like this is the one that I want. Because if tech is crap, well, guess what? So is the exchanges that are going to be trading these stocks. NDAQ. Absolutely. So it popped today. I was like, I got to get some of this. I got to get some. My alarm went off. You can see it right there. Ding, 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 ding. Took a stab. You're welcome. I don't know. We'll see. This close is nice. Doesn't mean it's all over. Maybe it forms some sort of head and shoulder pattern. Maybe the shoulder line is more complex like this one. Either way, starter jacket short. Who's got their starter jackets? I still got my Eagles one from when I was a teenager. Love that shit. MicroStrategy. Oops, sorry, YouTube. I think I've cussed now 3 times. Please don't ban me. It's all for good fun. Hit the 50-day, backs off. I don't know. Fill the gap. Now what? Guess as good as mine. Netflix, man, hit our upside target. Really wish stupid ass Wells Fargo wouldn't have upgraded the stock, because then if it would have flopped down to here, would have bought it and been gone. Now what? Trade over. I don't know. I mean, I know people want to, want to cry. Give me a tissue. Nah, whatever. Who cares? Roblox. Another one we liked if it was lower and it popped and flopped. Now this point in the market, I don't know, man. Tesla. Things that aren't bullish. Look at that. Wipeout. Well, Elon better raise more capital. Pronto. Look at that. Makes new lows. Someone was bragging yesterday about the good trade of the upside, which, hey, they took their profits. They got out. That was the winner. Congratulations that you did, because here's the thing. Holding this overnight, scary. Scary. So at this point, I would just leave it alone. I mean, long it, short it, I don't know. I've told you guys and gals this I've been screaming this for months. This thing's a turd. The blow off top. Here you go. You're at the 50 month. Does it hold? I mean, if you are long the stock, you better say 7 Hail Marys and pray to sweet baby Jesus and hope that it holds. If you're short, whew, man, that's, yeah, it doesn't look bad. Materials, letter X. X hits the spot. Talked about it hitting the 50-day or 200-day bounces. It's not the close you really want to see. Does it look terrible? I mean, terrible. I mean, Charles Barkley, terrible. I don't know, man. Again, all these names, it just doesn't seem like long as what I want to see. And I mean, when I say what I want to see is what I want to trade, because the opportunities for short seems better. Risk reward, right? It's still a bear market. Did anything really get figured out? Probably not. The Fed's going to probably over tighten. We don't know. Keep in mind, when the Feds do pivot, that's usually because you're in a recession. Yikes. We'll see. Could this be the 1970s and we chop? Another question for another time. Nucor, Gap, chop down. I mean, none of these names look like they're, again, someone's like, oh, do you want to buy these? I'm like, hell no. I don't want to trade any of these names. Just trade the SPY. Focus on what you can focus on. If you're trading names that are acting slightly different than the market but aren't the market long today, I was like, no. Just trade the market. Again, emotional mental capital. How many things? Yes, dear sweet baby Jesus, how many things can you focus on in your manger? Whatever that thing is. Anyway, VALE, talked about that being a professional gap, maybe. Doesn't look great for commodities. And if that's the case, interesting. Arrow, copper. Is this a novice gap or a pro gap? Holy crap. Crap gap. I don't know. This thing is clearly not obstructed by what's going on. Congratulations if you own it. I mean, who cares? Not who cares. I don't know. You just don't know. I mean, I'm not Jim Cramer. Neither should you expect yourself to be. CCJ. Oops. Fission is coming. Whatever. Power. I don't know. Again, I've told people to lay off uranium stocks, especially this one. This one has been in the tanker. It's trying to float the river, and it's probably going to get called on its bluff. Because, again, Westinghouse is crap in the sense of they've had accounting issues. They've had issues before. We'll see. I mean, that deal might turn out being good long-term, near-term, no. So again, here someone was asking about CF. Should I buy it today? I'm like, buy what? No, absolutely not. Market's not confirming anything. It's just chopping around. You know what I mean? Like, we're trying to top these stocks. Again, they're not the market. Like, do I want to watch 10 other names or I just want to watch the SPY and trade SPY? I think I'll just trade SPY. Mosaic, flat, chop. Pop flops back. Looks pretty. No, actually, doesn't look great. NTR, same thing. Pops, flops back. I mean, all these names. Check, please. Moving on. AA. We talked about there was a trade yesterday, and you're welcome. I mean, I know I'll get probably one donation from someone saying, like, yeah, you were spot on yesterday with AA. You said somewhere in the 43, 44 area. Oops. That's pretty solid. And then if you traded it, cool. 10%. Adios, amigo. You were gone. Nice trade. At this point, do I want to play? These candles are tough. They're very tough. Just be thoughtful. That's all I can really say. XBI. Someone was talking about shorting it yesterday. I'm like, God damn it, no. Gosh darn it. Gaps up. Again, this thing is just noise. I mean, it looks like a game of ping pong, and you were playing on the short table. It just seems stupid. It doesn't really seem like it has much upside. I mean, like CF, at least, it trades in like 5-10 point ranges. Like this 10 point range is like, it's going to take 3 weeks for it to play out versus like 1 day. PAAS. All right, let's talk about financials. That's ones we started to short today. You're welcome. If you saw pre-market, I mean, man, what did it get up to? 33, 36. It got up real close. 36, 36. Got real close to this. Well, guess what? Opened up. I'm like, that's good enough for government work. This candle looks pretty damn ugly. This candle could be interesting trapping. Don't short the lows. Watch for bounces. It's really that simple. Morgan Stanley. This is one we shorted today because look, I've been saying 95 would be an absolute gift. Well, is this a novice gap blow off? America. F yeah. Da, 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 da. That's what you want. I mean, that's the move that I want to see of a pop and a flop. Potentially. Now someone could say, oh, is that a professional gap starting the move? Yeah, I don't know. Probably not. And if it's not, even better. Because here's the thing, right? When you look at this, right? When you look at this, what do you see? Rubber band man getting tired. One little exhaustion gap. Check, please. Moving on. Yes. Like, watch anything. Again, 93, 94, 95. Layer in. If it pops tomorrow, watch it. Short it, potentially, with stops. Please, with stops. Do not take any of my advice as financial advice. Consult a financial advisor. And if you're trading, guess what? You need to figure out why, how to execute. Bottom line. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Here you go, JP Morgan. Gap up. Put that on your watch list. Again, anything over 135, 136. Short. Remember, banks gonna have problems. Any questions, thoughts, concerns? And before I start moving through this and be done, remember I'm gonna do open live chat afterwards for a couple minutes. But let's keep going then. I mean, that's why NDAQ and banks were the most obvious ones to me that I could catch. Now, someone else caught something else. High five to you. Well done. Tan. Talked about it wasn't a short down here, but we said we had a watch. Well, guess what? Gaps up. Let's close over the 20-day. Tough to know. ENPH keeps hitting that 330 level. Backs off. If you took a short today, I get it. Just be prepared to defend it. It might not, or pop out. It might not go right away. Sedge, this is interesting again. This for solar, it's a novice gap trap. I mean, here I would at this point 335. Put it on your radar. Hit me up if you see it. First solar, talked about it. You can't chase it. Well, look at that. Pops right back. I'm telling you, 160s, I don't know. That's what I'd be looking for. Again, all short trades are predicated on the market going lower. If you're trying to short the market and you think it's going higher, don't do that. All right, let's end it on some of these oil names real quick and just blast through this. USO, congrats. Again, if you bought it down here, we talked about dojis getting tired. Could it go lower? Yeah, I mean, that's what I wanted. And this is the thing they always laugh about. What I want, what happens, it doesn't work like that. We try to put the higher probabilities. Well, it pops up, and just like we saw on the futures for oil and gas, 75, 76 area, wicks back. UNG, somebody was asking about this. I'm like, I don't know. Again, this ETF will get decay if it's not going in its favor near term. Same thing with natural gas at the trend line potentially. I mean, again, I'm not saying short this stuff, but I don't want to buy it either. So just moving right along. XOP, talked about how it got volatile in 2008, 2009. Up, chop. I mean, I'm watching the 120s. If it's not there, I can't confidently say I know where to get in and get out. Like, I want to have references and stops against. People just don't want that. It's like getting into a hand in poker or blackjack or whatever. The probabilities, and you got to get aggressive. You have to think the probabilities in your favor. You can't just be guessing. Like ExxonMobil pops up today. I mean, would you buy it? I don't know. No. Would you short it? I don't know. I don't think so either. It doesn't really give me do you want to put your reference somewhere around 109? I don't. These names they don't look bad. They don't look like I'd be jumping all over them. PXD, as we said, it goes down, goes up. Nice little gap up back into the channel. Interesting, it closes right at it. I set my alarm. You can see it down here in the 200s. I just stopped me out. I gave up on it. That's just part of life. EQT, I guess we'll go into that one. People Oxy as well. Like this thing, again, they're fed. I mean, they can't manage their own futures desk. Piece of crap. I mean, until they can hire somebody from my Discord room to trade natural gas for them. Good luck. Natural gas is hard. It's so damn hard. Oxy, again, holding 200-day. I don't know. All right, I'm going to end the recording. If you have any questions, stick around. I appreciate all the love, support. Please be thoughtful. It's the Fed day, and then Thursday has typically been the day that matters post FOMC, because tomorrow's like no shit Sherlock, everything is coming kind of day. It's the day after that matters. So on that note, let's let's stop recording and stick in and ask questions.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.